Shannon Ivey, and it's October 15th, 1989. I'm at my grandmother's house in Cordova, and her name is Marie Ivey. She's 69. She was born in Newbern, Tennessee.
Hey, Dad.
Sharpshooter.
Okay, I'm ready. Ready?
Yep.
Where are we going?
Where do you want to dig?
I want to dig in the first place you thought of.
I love playing outside.
Very squishy, so
Okay, squishy.
Boots on.
Good thing.
My late grandparents, on my father's side of the family, were farmers. They built on a large plot of land in Cordova, Tennessee. Later, their siblings would build on one side of their property, and then much later, my parents would join them and build on the other side. My parents still live there, next door to the house that I remember as a child.
So watermelons were here. What location are we at?
we're at the 7741 Macon Road.
Do you like life better then or now?
I like life better right now. I'm here sitting with you doing an interview. This is the coolest it can get.
And after this, we're going to do a walk, so that's going to be
Yeah,
awesome.
that's even better.
There's a lot more than a random daughter digging in the dirt going on in this story. There's a lot you can't see because this is an Ivy story, and we Ivies are very good at hiding the tough stuff. We Ivies are really good at parabolizing, and we're really good at narrating the story we wish had happened.
Oh, if you want to know, my grandmother, we call her Mom, and my grandfather, we call him Dandy.
But maybe you can see a son trying to be the man his father wanted him to be. A son that took care of his mother for 7 years after his father died and when her dementia hit.
Ivy's brother.
A son who had to make very difficult decisions at the end of his mother's life. Maybe you can also see a man who daily tries to protect and take care of his wife while he is alive and, like his father, long after he is gone. So, this is how he does it. This Ivy subdivision, as he calls it, is the central defining feature of his dedication, lifelong dedication to his parents, his wife. The choice to build next door to his parents and eventually take care of his mother was intentional.
When did you first meet Dandy?
I met Dandy. His family moved on the next farm when we lived in the country, and so he was away in the service in 1940, and he came home on leave, and we met at a school function, and that his sister introduced me to him.
Was he handsome?
He was very handsome. He was in a Marine uniform.
Hmm.
Okay.
Now, our story, his and mine, is much more complicated. My connection to him and to my immediate family, no matter how complicated his and my relationship got, was held together by this link to Mom Ivy. Her love for me was a bridge to feeling welcome on that land and in my family. When she died, that bridge disappeared, though I didn't fully understand it at the moment because we were all too busy grieving. At her funeral, standing at the podium, I watched my father say something about my visits home over the years. You see, I was the firstborn child that did that thing to leave at college and not come back.
We had your mom first, and she was precious. She was wonderful. She was sweet, sweet girl. And so she was first.
So, at that podium, he said, in front of all the people who love and know our family, he said that my visits home were explosive. This would be a hint of something that would come in the next few months. It was a jarring thing to hear, and at that vulnerable moment, I saw his version of us.
The center of the garden, right here. The center of the garden that the Ivey brothers put together and were worked by their wives for many years. So,
How far did it go? All the way down there?
to the pole,
To the pole.
the telephone pole,
Wow.
all the way past 2 or 3 bushes on the right-hand side.
Let's see. When did you have my dad and Aunt Sharon?
Sharon was born in 44, and Bill was born in 46.
How did the children change your life?
Well, I had always wanted children when I got married, and so it was a drastic change because we had to start thinking about children instead of each other.
All right. I see this piece of land. You could fit a house on this, or 2.
You could.
Okay. Here's the center.
My dad and I have a pattern. When things get tough in my life, and I mean they have to be bottom of the barrel tough for me to make the next move, that move coming to him for help is the last thing I want to do. When I do, we do that dance of I'm your dad and I'll make sure this is okay and you just come home, which is exactly what I did 3 months after Mom died. Due to budget cuts, I had lost my job, and in the little town I was living in, there were no other options. Professors don't bounce back in the summer. It's just impossible. And as a divorced single mom with no child support, I had nowhere else to turn. I turned to my dad. And the next moments would be moments that he and I, no matter how many apologies, can't forget.
There was competition between my dad and myself on who could have the most purple markers. Always competition with the Ivies.
What activities do you enjoy most?
I really enjoy gardening and decorating, and I like to grow beautiful flowers. I have roses that I love to work
Not
with.
the women. Did the women compete?
No, they were peacemakers.
Oh,
Now you notice there's a different texture in the soil
yeah.
because it's been worked.
And that's how I came to be homeless with my child living in my Prius the summer of 2015. A lot has happened since then between us. And although apologies have been made, trauma leaves traces behind. But what you're watching is me building a bridge. Trauma digs deep down in a person. Cumulative trauma leaves effects that cannot be undone, and yet we as humans have the ability to bridge that cavern that trauma has left with our art and our story. And so here on this day, Christmas 2018, I am digging, not the trauma. I am digging where he and I do connect. In that one place we both know. And that is how much we miss Mom.
I'm so much like you, it's funny.